I'll put a little video over it. You're
Okay,
good.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, just me.
We came from very different backgrounds.
Be classy, be genuine, be grateful.
I wanted to help out and contribute and sort of give back to the people that had helped me.
Man, welcome to the intro. No need for introductions. All about the world and the world what we discussing. Where every single thought that we had came from something. So it's funny that we made it when we started here with nothing. Gotta open up your mind just to find out why. When you lost inside the dark, just gotta turn on the light. And no matter what you do, you never run from a fight. Because we fighting to be better and that's why we strive.
Hi, I'm Corey McCain, CEO of We Strive, the #1 platform for personal trainers, gym owners, and coaches to both manage and scale their business. I'm your host for Why We Strive, where every Tuesday I sit down with some of the most incredible tech founders, investors, and creatives to find out how, when, where, and why they strive. Be sure you tune in every single Tuesday and check us out at whywestrive.com for more info. Now, let's get to this week's episode. All right, everyone's good to go?
Yeah.
Roger.
Roger. Did you just...
I
thought you were the same person.
I think I said. I don't even think I think I said. I think I was saying Roger, but I never said that. So I just stopped saying it halfway through. So I was like, "What is this word?"
It was like a reflex. Just
yeah,
came through.
it was. I was like Roger.
It's the drugs
Yeah.
from Star Wars. Yeah,
That's right. Roger. Sweet. Episode 5. Welcome, guys. I have my co-host. This is our first time doing a guest host. This is Drew.
What's up, guys? You may remember me from episode 1, the best episode, but this will be second.
This will be a good one.
Very
So Drew is the COO of Pipe Dream. Episode 1, check it out. And we got episode 5 here though. We got Rizse, spelled Rizse. So don't forget that. Do you two want to introduce yourselves?
Oh yeah, no, great, no. Thanks for having us here. It's actually a really cool opportunity to be able to not only work with one of my friends that I've met, being over here for the past 2 years in Austin, but to really build something that's actually really, really cool. So I'll give a little background on myself. So for anyone that knows or even honestly cares, my background, I actually graduated from Arizona State, and no, I didn't party as hard as you think.
Okay.
Almost there, but
we'll see.
Not that
we'll
much.
take it out.
Yeah,
We'll take it
it's
out.
great. No, it's great. So I'm like, I originally studied computer science for about 2.5 years, so I got to Calc 3 and realize, wow, I just don't like this.
Nice.
Ultimately ended up studying aviation because I'm passionate about the industry. So
You studied what? Sorry.
studying aviation.
Oh, I think you said a niche, and I was like, I don't know what that means. So
Yeah.
if that's a language or
Did you get
something.
your pilot's license?
I actually did. I did.
Oh.
Yeah. So we could have done this in an airplane.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have, but like, I would have to stick the mic in my mouth and be like, "How you guys like how
Yeah.
peanuts that we insert?" No, but no. So I'm like, ultimately ended up studying aviation, and then I kind of took a look at the industry and really like created the company, and I'll get into that a little bit. But like my background formally is like I've been really kind of like a big tech guy. I've held several positions in several Fortune 500 companies. Stemming from like Charles Schwab all the way up to Google, which is like I really ended my career. So you'd think I did anything like a lot of things more technically there at Google, but I ultimately ended up becoming more of like a project manager for like my offshore team. So that's what helped me really become a better, hopefully like a better leader, or at least better at giving direction than I did now. I don't know. You can ask Jack because he'll know. He'll tell you.
Yeah, I'd say you're a pretty good leader. You've got some good stuff going on. I'm Jack Medellin, doing operations stuff for Rizse. Before that was at Lockheed Martin for about 5 or 6 years on the F-35 program, and then prior to that, UT Computer Science right here in Austin.
Is your official role operations stuff, or what do you guys have the role as?
I don't know, Kobe. What is it now?
Yeah, let's wait. Okay.
Dude, claim COO or CEO if he's
Claim
happy
it.
to say it.
Claim it right
Yeah,
now.
do it right now. Chairman of the board, COO.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
And president of the board.
That's right.
If you want to take it, honestly, go ahead.
We need voting rights.
All right, that's on record. Let's put that in there.
Okay, I'm just gonna strike that.
The defending
one.
team wants voting rights. We
Right.
want shares.
It's actually funny.
Or we walk.
It's actually funny how we met. Like I really brought Jack on to really kind of support the engineering efforts and the team as a technical project manager, but like he showed so much more and he was capable of so much more that the only thing for me that made sense was to give him a position in the company where he could I honestly felt that he fit, and I think that was someone as in my C-suite, my executive role. So
yeah, I really appreciate it. I mean, it's a super interesting business model. Like, I didn't know anything about drones coming in, and I've just learned a bunch from Colby and Braden and Adon, and there's just limitless stuff going on.
That's great. I still don't know anything about drones, so it's
great. well, I think we found a good connection. Like, even when I was speaking with Pipe Dream episode 1, they were discussing how, or Cannon was mentioning how it's cool that each of the executives have some sort of background in robotics. Yeah. And so similar situation, it's like he's running ops, but he has his computer science degree. So it's not like, or computer engineering. He's not sitting there like, okay, what do you mean by that? Like, he can actually communicate with the team, which puts him in a good position to be an ops guy. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's kind of what I did at Lockheed. I was talking to the engineers and then talking to the back office business people saying, you know, we got to build this because we need to be here in 3 years. So let's put in this money now and, you know, see if we can iterate along.
Very cool. And I'm gonna do one question. I want to know what the company actually does and what you guys got started for, and then we're gonna break out the tequila. So there we go. So if I'll have you, of course, answer the question. So actually, can you answer the question and then you tell me how it got started, Jack?
Sure.
What does Rizse do?
So Rizse builds autonomous drone platforms for data capturing to inspect aircraft. Are really, I mean, it's extensible to any large infrastructure. That's tough to get to.
Okay.
And then there's an AI on the back end that takes those images and does some analysis to tell you where the damage is at, what type of damage it is, how big it is, all that stuff.
Very cool. And then what is the background on Rizse? Like, how did you guys get it started? Why did you get it started and all that?
Yeah, good question. So how we got Rizse, how I started Rizse was, it kind of came from like a little bit of a passion project from myself, right? So like I have a huge passion for the aviation industry, right? Mm-hmm. So I went to go to the Air Force Academy. There was this whole thing. I'm not going to go into that story now because it's a little.
You're the third person I know that went to the Air Force Academy and there was a whole thing.
It's a process to get into there, man. It's crazy, but so I mean, I came up with the concept of it because I ultimately I wanted to figure out a way that I can work with the aviation industry without necessarily working for the aviation industry, right? How can I make an impact on something that was so like kind of near and dear to my heart? I had family that worked in it, right? So I got the opportunity once I switched my degree field to study aviation management, pilot track, everything else. That's what I got to work in. And I'll preface this right now. It's called an MRO. So it actually stands for maintenance, repair, and overhaul. So those are where every aircraft goes. It's basically like your repair shops for airplanes.
Good to know, dude. Yeah.
I got to work at one in Arizona. So that's where I went to school. And I really got to take a really deep look at like a fundamental issue that I was kind of like toying around with. Like, is this really a problem? Is it not a problem? And why isn't this being solved? So from there, I got to talk to a lot of people, like qualified A&Ps, those are airframe and power plants mechanics, and understand like, okay, what do you guys do on a day-to-day basis? When you check, like clock in versus when you clock out, what are you doing? And I got a really good understanding. I got to see that this glaring and bright red problem. I mean, at a first level, it's just like these inspections are extremely inefficient. Like they're slow, they're dangerous. Like you're literally connected to the ceiling of a hangar using a boom lift, and they won't tell you this. The industry, and I will tell you this. You can hear from me. But they want the amount of times that operators or technicians run like scissor lifts and boom lifts into the sides of aircraft and damage them
all the time
is frequent.
We're going to put a video over what he just said to describe that. Not for me. Obviously, I'm very familiar with scissor lifts. Did I say that right? I said that right.
Yeah, scissor lifts.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. I thought I just forgot what you said. I just made up a word, but that's what you said. Okay, cool.
That's right.
It sounds like a core exercise, but okay, got it. Okay, so we'll put a video up so you know.
It's the personal trainer kind of coming out again, you know.
So anyways, what we were saying, we'll put a video to describe it so that people understand.
No, it's cool. Like, I don't know if you can find a video of anyone hitting an aircraft, but
there's a lot of them on YouTube.
Perfect. Anyway,
there's a lot of them out there.
Perfect. I gotta ask you why you know that, but yeah, ultimately, I really got to like take a look and ask these questions, and I'm like, hey, and while I was in university, I got to like look and see, you know, what technologies were available, right? So like we had a drone program, so I'm like, okay, if there are technologies that are capable of doing these same inspections much more accurately, much more consistently than humans, if I'm going to be honest, why don't we use them? And it's such an underserved industry, it's such an underserved market that it only makes sense. There's a reason why it's underserved. It's a little like there's regulatory hurdles and things you have to get through. But now that we've like gone through COVID and there's a lot of these things, there's a huge, and even before COVID, there's a huge labor shortage. It's I mean, it's substantial. There's over 40,000 open A&P positions right now. And we're losing, I mean, on average, 12,000 qualified and tenured inspectors per year. And it's only being replaced by about 7,000 on average.
Is that because like their job's just like so ridiculously hard, or what? Why are they leaving?
It requires a lot of training, right, to be able to be an A&P mechanic or an inspector.
It does, but also like these people are aging out. Like they were in during the, you know, I mean, during the war, like, right? That's when you get like a lot of your pilots and stuff. So a lot of these people are aging out, and as my dad would say, but like once people in our generation realize that you can make a lot more money in the .com boom, like building an app or doing something else, it's not a sexy industry. So I'm trying to find a way, and this is going to be corny, but to make it more sexy.
For sure.
Making drones sexy, dude.
That's cool, man.
So so basically like your drones are a better version of making sure that an airplane is ready to operate and fly again, essentially? Or am I totally wrong on that?
We want to make sure that plane gets from maintenance hangar to sky as soon as possible.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like-
Gotcha. Is it more accurate and efficient, or one of the two, or what would you describe it as?
Both. For
Cool.
sure. Like
Okay.
a camera's going to have a better visual than the human eye. And plus, like a drone can fly up, whereas a person has to, be able to jump on a scissor lift and write it down with a pencil and all that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was wondering, why is your company spelled the way it is?
Oh God.
Because I had a hard time like trying to find your website, and I know your company and I know you, and like
I knew we were gonna get this question. It's
so you
like
should have a good answer.
the most ridiculous. No, I really don't. I wish I did. I wish I did. So one of my this is gonna suck. The original name for the company was way too on the nose. It was horrible. I was not as creative as I am
I'm
now.
so excited.
I'm also not as that creative, but like it was the original name for the company, and God, I can't believe I'm saying this publicly. It was called Maintenance Automation. Laugh, take it all in.
That's
not
terrible.
It's not funny.
You said it.
It sounds like a 50-year-old company. They've been around for decades. They got it really.
I'm gonna fall asleep, but I'm not laughing.
Okay, that's what I want.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
At least that happens. As long as it's safe on a plane.
And that
great.
wasn't sexy.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Rise though.
But
Rise.
Rise.
definitely.
Rise is a good name. Yeah,
This is
yeah.
I mean, it's a great great name, but there's no way that you can trademark this name in any way because it's used literally everywhere. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Gotcha.
I didn't come up with the company name. So when I took my time when I was living in San Francisco, I had one of my roommate who's now one of my senior engineers, amazing DevOps engineer. Love him. I'm gonna give him a shout out. I'm not gonna give his name so you can look him up. But his it's the worst way I can say this. His gamer tag was Rise spelled the way that it is now.
Yeah.
And for me,
I didn't know this either.
Jack's over here learning information.
it was me being lazy because like we were going through refinancing, and I'm just like, okay, I can't use the name Maintenance Automation anymore because it's a horrible name. And I'm like, okay, this exists in the wheelhouse that I want it to be in. It's just not the most like SEO friendly. But you know what? At the time, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go for it. Did it. Haven't changed it. Now we have so much IP and everything else and like branding around it that I'm just like, changing this is going to be a nightmare.
Well, thankfully, you have a company that the SEO doesn't really matter. Like, you could have no website and you could still do what you're doing. So, like, just like my old company was perfect. It was spelled PERFICT, like, and it was fit capitalized. And it was like in the Android store, you would type it in and it would autocorrect to perfect, and then we just would disappear. And you'd have to, it'd say, did you mean? You'd have to click, did you mean? And then it would pop up. So, like, that kind of shit is so irritating. But you guys don't really have to deal with, I mean, of course, I can't find it as easily, but, like, you know, I'm not, you know, your client. So,
But we'll link it here for you.
nice.
Plus, like, Twitter isn't a word. You know,
Yeah.
if you're good enough and you're doing well enough in the industry,
Yeah.
they'll find you. They never
But
find
I will argue Twitter's also not a misspelled
you. That
common
is true.
word.
That's the other aspect.
That's
of it,
that's the argument. I'd be like, well, yeah, Google did it, and then as I thought it over the years, I was like, yeah, but there's not a word called goggle, so it's like you don't have to like worry about the misspelling. So, but yeah. Anyways,
I feel less thrown under the bus now. Thank you.
yeah,
I really
you're good.
appreciate that.
It's a good gamer tag story. So who are are you the sole co-founder? Do you have other co-founders or?
So, actually, No. So I technically have two other co-founders. So to preface this, I'm like, when I founded the company and the original work and everything else, and I found my co-founders later, and I realized their passion and what they were building. It's because they're engineers, so like they love tackling hard problems.
Yeah.
And for me, I gave them an extremely hard problem. I'll get into that later. But with that being said, I founded the company, and how I actually found my co-founders. One of them, I was, his name is Idan. Like I was in electrical class, like circuits class with him. Great guy, super amazing. Eats, if he could like eat an actual physical drone, he would. But
nice.
it sounds horrible. So I found him in class, and then my co-founder Braden, who's he's like really like the brains of the technical operation, right? Like I was technical to a certain point. Now I'm an idiot, so I'm here.
There we go.
But he really built out like the navigational stack and everything, like the autonomous navigational stack. So I actually put in at Arizona State, like you have capstone programs in order to graduate, right? And I was a part of the school, like the Cincy School of Engineering, for about like 2.5 years. So I made relations and connections with professors. So I actually ended up making a proposal when I came up with the company, and I gave it to the classes to see if I can get students. And Braden happened to be one of the people that chose, his team chose the project, and he was the only one that was extremely communicative with me, and was working on the project. And actually seemed like he would come down to, I'd make him drive like an hour and a half down to like Marana, Arizona, middle of nowhere, to go like scan planes and like start really kind of doing things. So like at that point I asked him like, hey, do you want to be my co-founder?
When you first start, are you manually scanning planes with like some Star Wars-esque laser, or like are you holding it, like you're doing a drone, or like what are you doing like step one? Because you don't have the drone yet at that point, right? Or do you have the drone?
No, we didn't have the drone.
So what do you mean by scanning?
It was really just kind of collecting data, right?
Like scanning with your eyes, then? Is that what you're...
Yeah, no, we're taking pictures. We're like looking and like taking pictures and like trying to like figure out, okay, how the hell are we gonna actually do this?
Gotcha. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And that was the hardest part, because I'm like, we're working with multi-million-dollar aircraft. I think a 787 is what, like $140 million?
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah. So I'm like, who the hell is going to give me access to like these aircraft?
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's when I found my mentors. I kind of now like my father, I actually recognize him as my father, who believed in me, believed in the company. It says like, hey, like I give you free reign. Like I can go there, everyone knows me, and just like just don't hit the plane. I'm just like, you got hit it 3 times.
Nice.
Is it really gonna hurt anything else?
Yeah.
But,
Have you ever hit a plane?
No.
Let's go.
Haven't seen it. It might have happened before me. But
No.
Jack's claiming.
Just with the drone, or what do you mean by that question? Just like...
Yeah, like the whole point of using the drones to scan it is like it's allegedly safer, like than running into them with the scissor lift, like we were talking about earlier.
Gotcha.
Right?
I feel like a drone wouldn't really hurt a plane. I mean, it could be...
Well, those props spin pretty fast. Like, they could probably cut through, but it's got distance sensing. It knows where it's at, so it's not going to hit it.
Good to know, dude. Good to know.
So I had a question. Like, you guys mentioned that you're leveraging AI for your scanning technologies and like the analysis of your data. Do you think that your product is going to be a full replacement for human operators, or is it going to be collaborative?
Well, I'll tell you how I pitch it. It's a good way. So the answer to that is no. The reason why I gave you this statistic in the very early part of this podcast is because it's a really strong and valid statistic on the industry. This system is not poised to replace technicians. Trust me, we've spoken to a multitude of different unions who were afraid of this, and then we told them like, hey, this is to make your job safer and much more efficient, right? There are not enough technicians that are replacing the ones that are going out of the door. And when those go out, they take a lot of knowledge with them. Yeah. Our systems, just like our tagline, is meant to augment human potential.
So you see it as like collaborative then?
Yeah, it's collaborative.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, a human still has to repair the damage out there. We're out there finding it, telling you where it's at, taking care of the boring stuff so they can go focus on the fun things of, okay, I'm going to go replace this part on the actuator, or I'm going to rip this panel off and, dig into the wires, as opposed to having to take, a couple of days to walk along a wing and, mark out where a dent is.
He's serious when he says it's a couple of days. Like, it literally takes a team of like 4 people, depending on the size of the aircraft, like doing 20 and 200 hours to inspect one of these aircraft, especially on the dip measurements. It's a long time.
And you mentioned you were at Lockheed prior to this, right? So I imagine you have to do a lot of inspections when you're manufacturing aircraft too, not just when they're in service, right?
Yeah, there are all sorts of cameras and fit checks that go through on the production line. It's a little bit more stable of an environment because you've got standard work instructions. You've got parts that are coming at a certain fit. I mean, there are a couple of times where something gets dropped, but then you just grab another one and put it on there. But then after you roll the plane off the production line, you have checkoff flights. You've got 30-ish hours worth of test flights, making sure that the wings flap, that the cockpit opens, all that stuff. And so you're potentially getting damage during that too, as somebody drops a wrench or a bird happens. So it's full on from manufacturing to all the way until you retire that plane.
I feel like "birds happen" should have been your guys' slogan. That would have been that would have been a great slogan, dude.
That's actually a really great slogan.
At Lockheed, they had a thing called the bird gun. They would put frozen chickens in it and fire it at the cockpit to make sure that it would work. It was on the back.
Nice.
And the legend was that somebody left one of the chickens in there overnight and came back the next day and it just smelled like something had died.
I thought you were gonna make a joke like it came back to life or something like that. And it came back and there was an egg. Yeah, there was an egg in there. Yeah. Very chickens. Right. Very cool. So you mentioned earlier that when you came out, when you first had this idea, you were like, all right, and here we go. That's pretty much you had the idea and you're still working on it. So has the target market changed at all? That you were you're still working with the same thing that you wanted to when you first started? Because all of us that have companies, we're always this is what we're gonna do, and then we're like, maybe that's not a good idea actually. Are you still just this is the idea, and then you're still doing the same concept, same target market, everything?
Yeah, actually. So has the market changed? Absolutely. They actually want to adopt it now.
Yeah,
so
nice.
When I originally came first with the idea, it's a great idea. It's great to automate this this really archaic solution. Process for the industry, but it wasn't really until we were getting traction prior to COVID, but after COVID happened, it really changed how the industry's I don't know if you guys know anything about the aviation industry, the airlines, but they have razor thin margins all the way down to the maintenance side. So anything that they can do to alleviate the pain of potentially losing out, the losses of revenue because of we had to take another day to inspect this aircraft or another day to get this part in. They want to take it, so they're doing everything in their power now to really drive down those costs, and that means the adoption of a lot more automated technologies and digital task force solutions and things like that. So
I have two questions from that. First one is similar to my last one. So are you targeting who do you even target then? Are you reaching out to Southwest? Or are you reaching out to some sort of governing body that commands all of the US airlines kind of thing? Or are you going after the military or private airlines? What are you going after?
I think the easiest way to say that is all of the above. And that governing body is the FAA, but they're interesting.
But it's not a business.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So who we really target, our target customer base are any airlines or maintenance providers, or maintenance providers or third-party maintenance providers or airlines with technical operations. So those are larger, your Americans, your Delta, Delta Tech Ops, your Southwest Tech Ops, and also at the same time they also outsource a lot of those things. There's your HICOs, there's your ST Engineerings, there's your AARs of the world.
Gotcha. So when you first get your first product out there though, are you calling Southwest or where do you start? Like a small airline, like a local one? How do you because you can't just hey, I have drones, call Southwest up, here, trust me, you know what I mean?
Do you have customers?
Yeah, we do.
Who was your first customer?
Our first customer was actually the customer that allowed us to do our development on their facilities. It's Aviation Services. They're out in Marana and Tucson, and now opening in another location in Mexico.
Very cool.
Also a defense contractor, MITRE, if you guys have ever heard of them as well. And then we have a customer agreement. I don't know if I can say it literally publicly, but it's one of a top tier airline as well.
Hey, nice.
I tell you guys, but you have to cut it. And then also one of the largest third-party aircraft repair station in North America. Is
very cool. And then really one more thing before we take tequila, because I wanted to cheers you, and I was like, fuck, we should have tequila.
So tell you.
When there are random crashes that unfortunately happen overseas and stuff like that, do you believe that if your drone had been the thing that scanned that plane, that it wouldn't have crashed? Not to like a guarantee, but like, do you think there's like a much better chance that it wouldn't have?
Potentially. I mean, the 737 MAX one was because the
MCAS.
It's
yeah,
'cause
the
of the
MCAS on the
system.
outside broke off, right?
And poor training and non-redundant
Yeah.
systems.
I mean, whenever you have potential design flaws like that, it's tough. But if it's anything with the defect from a missed piece of maintenance, yeah, we could definitely help there.
Make me feel better about flying, because every time I fly, I get more scared.
Have you ever seen duct tape on airplanes? We make sure that you don't have duct tape on airplanes.
Oh, I don't mean you guys. I mean just in general, just general flying. Like, give me something to be like, this doesn't ever happen. I'll be like, okay, cool. Now
Turbulence
I wanna
hasn't brought down a plane, so
Yes!
if you're shaky, you're good.
Safer than driving a car, right?
It is.
Yeah,
Statistically.
by the numbers.
I went on a date with this girl a few years ago that was a pilot, and she told me, and this really helped me. She goes, turbulence is kind of like when you're driving over bumps when you're driving. And I was like, oh, I feel so much fucking better now. 'Cause I go on so many flights, and I'm just like, and I'm just like, fuck. I hate it so much. So that also helps me. I'm going to remember that sentence.
Just
I'm gonna,
ask them for a shot of tequila or bourbon. Like, what did you know? You'll be
yeah,
fine.
good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Turbulence is never, okay, awesome. That's a good note to end on. I feel way
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Okay, sweet.
Good.
All right,
So we're
quick
here.
pause. All right, so Tequila 512 is an Austin-owned and operated tequila company. Distilled in Jalisco, it's made from 100% blue agave and real volcanic spring water. Crisp and clean with just a hint of sweetness, it's the perfect anytime tequila. Whether you've been coding all day and need to unwind, or your VC group is throwing a party, you can always count on Tequila 512 to bring you incredible tequila at an incredible price. You can find the Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo at your local retailer.
He's, by the way, if you guys didn't know, he's Mexican.
I'm a Latino.
Dude, I can say Añejo if you want me to, dude.
I'm a quarter Japanese.
You're Japanese?
1/4.
Oh,
Really? My mom was born in Tokyo.
Oh,
crazy.
we need to do that again. I didn't
I
even
was
drink.
born-
After I cheers.
I was born in
I just
Okinawa.
realized I did
Well, hey,
not
we'll
drink.
say it right this time.
Yeah.
Say it.
So I'll go.
Reposado.
Reposado? I thought there was a.
If you can't
I said,
read-
I said Resposado.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. I don't even. That's not being white. That's just misspelling the word.
Missaying
Missaying it.
which is a white thing to
It's
do.
not that I'm white. I just can't read.
It's part of me being white, dude. All right, ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right, this podcast is sponsored by Tequila 512, a local tequila here in ATX, aka Austin. Cheers to me. Cheers to you. Cheers to Tequila 512. Boom.
Boom.
Oh.
Boom.
Cheers.
Salud.
Refreshing
stuff, dude.
Ballsy man.
Ballsy man.
What was that cocktail?
That cocktail was 2 ounces of Reposado, 2 ounces of Topo Chico, 2 ounces of grape juice, 1/4 ounce of lemon or lime juice, and then a little tahini rim. And that is the We Strive 512 cocktail.
Love it.
Boom.
Whatever it is. I know I'm going to sleep well tonight.
There you go.
Healthy, refreshing. I mean, what more do you want?
Dude, put grapefruit juice, dude. It's all day. If you saw the montage, it took me like 20 minutes to squeeze the grapefruits because I didn't plan that out, but here we are. So we're back.
I went to the gym earlier and his
Love
arms
it.
are tired.
I did actually do arms today, so that's actually might be why. I put an extra shot in mine, but I was like, that was just straight from the shot bottle, so we're good.
You're trying to make me feel fat.
Yeah, I got you.
It's working.
Well, you wore the tightest shirt I've ever seen in my entire
I'm
life.
sorry.
So
It's got to show off.
He's here to look good.
It's like,
That's
dude.
what he said. I mean,
it's like, dude, it's like the drone made that shirt just so it would fit you perfectly.
Yeah, it's 3D printed for sure.
This
You ever
is
watch
like-
Halo? They modeled that up. Master Chief after me.
Nice, like the Halo show. Yeah.
I mean,
great show, amazing show.
So good.
Yeah,
Really
we're
is.
actually sponsored by the Halo show. Thank you, Amazon.
We're sponsored by Amazon too.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna move this one out of my
I'm pretty
face.
sure that was Paramount Plus. Okay.
all right.
Oh, you're right. Dang it, that's embarrassing.
Now we gotta cut that whole scene.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paramount. He meant to say you.
I apologize, guys. All right, we're back at it. So one thing I wanted to ask is, how is the drone community? Is it similar to like Web3? Like, is it really tightly knit? Do you know everybody in it, or is it like you're kind of just all doing your own thing?
That's actually a really good question. Like, Web3 in its own right is it's a whole boys club. It's like, I gotta be honest, I haven't really seen that much, and I live in San Francisco.
So is drones though, to be honest.
Oh, probably more so.
Probably
Well, you're
so.
Well-
this is more of a bro, and that's more of like there's just guys. Like,
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
That's
Drones
a
and
good,
dudes.
that's a good way to
Yeah.
describe it.
It's not quite as tight.
Yeah.
So, like, do we know everyone? Like, I think, like, after COVID happened, or during COVID, like, the community that we once had that was being built is, like, it started, like, I mean, just, like, everybody. Like, I just recently watched this CEO. He's the CEO of Rapid Robotics. Amazing guy. I reached out to him. He's raising money on robotics. It might not be drones, but like, trust me, you try raising money for a robotics company. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. Trust me. And I reached out to them. They reached out, but I'm like, it's not like there's a ton of them around, So like the ones that I do see, I try to make sure that I'm like, we have a relationship at least. So we like smart drone.
And that's true. You can just like, that's true. Also, you can just be like, I'm a Web3 company overnight. Like, whereas drone, you're kind of like, you have to like fucking make a drone company. Like you
can say I'm a Web3 company and just set all my money on fire. Like,
exactly.
Unfortunately, I do have a lot of friends in the Web3 community, so I might delete that, but I also might not because I also agree. So
it's truth, and
I mean, I've had people trying to get me. I was like, I went to consensus, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I got the consensus. Yeah.
He's gonna drink again to stop the conversation.
That's right, dude.
That's next.
So, what is a like innovation in the drone community, or in like some of the technologies or the subsystems going into it that you guys are really excited about? Like, what's something that's cutting edge that most people don't know about yet?
Actually, what I'm excited about, but
you go ahead. You seem ready. I have to take a second to think.
I'm always ready. That's the point of being the CEO. Like, I think one of the coolest things about our technology is like the way that we navigate. We're not just using like optical sensors like a Scotty or something like that. We're doing something that actually gives us very precise measurements. And I mean, and trust me, it's a lot harder to do. Like, you guys have seen self-driving cars, right? Like, they have the spinning like LiDARs that are going all the time. Yeah. So we use a similar system. We were the first drone company to actually implement that system to do this type of work. So we don't just navigate in 2-dimensional space. We navigate in 3-dimensional space, which is
interesting,
infinitely more difficult.
What sensor are you using for that? Is it LiDAR?
Yeah, it's a 3D LiDAR. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's So
you have like multiple arrays, or how are you getting the vertical component?
So the LiDAR, it's a bunch of plates, and you get an angle up and an angle down, so it gives you about 90-degree coverage. Cool. And then from there, you kind of target where you're at. You have another vertical LiDAR that gives you some altitude or some barometer. So you merge all those sensors together to figure out where you are in the space.
So for like the non-dronies, I'm just going to ask it. So like you're saying before, it used to go like this and this and this, and now it can just like, with you guys?
No. So like what I was, I mean,
but close though, right? I'm trying.
You're right there.
Okay.
You're right there.
I don't want to be that nice though. It's not right.
You don't need to be nice.
I'm just kidding. I love you, Corey. I'm just kidding.
Hey, go ahead.
No, what I was referencing is like we're using like self-driving cars only operate in 2-dimensional locations. Like you see Waymo, you see whatever Uber had before it hit somebody in front of my apartment. That was interesting.
This podcast not sponsored by you.
I'm the worst. You can't do any of these ever again. But what essentially like they're only operating into like forward, backward, left, and right. That's it. For our system, what's really exciting about it, and it's cool, is like we're using that same technology, but we introduced a new axis, and that is something that is
pretty unique,
extremely difficult to do.
That's cool. Did you guys have to write a lot of like software behind that as well?
All of it.
That's amazing. Are you going to sell that to other companies or like other drone companies? Or is that the secret sauce that makes Rizse?
We may license it out. I mean, anything's on the table right now. That's the core operating system of the hardware itself. But as it gets better and packaged, I mean, if we can jumpstart the community to make sure that the drones are more accepted, I mean, that's definitely on the table.
By the way, yeah, we did build the drones ourselves. It wasn't by choice. If I could have, we could have bought something off the shelf like we would have, but like for what we needed and also for what our customers wanted, we had to make it. And so we built the system. So it's actually, I wish I had one of the drones here so I could show you guys. But
I'll put a little video over it. You're
okay,
good.
perfect.
Yeah. Drone.
Perfect. Yeah, just me.
Yeah.
But no, what's really cool about it is like we not only did we build something that like integrated all the technologies and software, because software integrators was really hard to do, but we did it with style. Like we won 2 design awards: the Red Dot Award for product design.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, and the IF Award earlier this year.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Really quick, Drew, you gotta talk closer to the mic. You're not only talking at them, but you're like this fucking far away.
All right.
He needs one of those little skinny mics that you see people.
Britney Spears kind of vibe. Yeah.
I don't want to be so close that I'm cutting you out.
Oh no, but when you talk though, just like if you're
for sure.
Just when you talk, just lean in really quick and then like
sounds good.
Sit back. Yeah. So you don't need it. Yeah. So you're good. Cool. So we're back to it. What were we just talking about? Okay. Cool. So what? That's for like. I don't even know how to ask this. That's for like literal like aesthetics, like physical design, right? Or is it? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I mean, it's really just physical design at that point.
Gotcha. Okay.
The hard stuff went inside.
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice, and we're also at the bleeding edge of using LiDAR in drones that fly. Like we are finding questions from our that the LiDAR sensor is generating and sending it back to the manufacturer and saying, hey, what is this? They go, we're not sure. We'll get back to you on that. Like we're really pushing the limits of what's going on.
That's
Very cool.
And is your flight plan fully autonomous, or like how much human operations has to happen to make your system work?
That's a good question.
So the goal eventually is that a person doesn't have to be a part of it. So you can have a drone either like sitting out on a runway, push a button, hood opens and it goes out and flies. That's cool. Right now it's the operator will take it out, set it down next to the plane, tell it how far away it is, put in a data point of this is a 737 or this is a A350 or whatever it is, and then it takes off, finds the nearest waypoint, and starts navigating around.
Is it scanning the plane is taking a video, or does it literally know what a part is and if that part is broken? So
it takes the camera's doing snapshots. It does about a dozen images a second. So you can stitch that together and it looks like a low frame rate video. Okay. But I mean, you're looking at 2,000 photos per inspection, and then we've got some algorithms on the back end that kind of pull that out to just the core 400 or 500 that somebody would want to look at, and then from there, the damage detection that says these are the ones with damage, these are the ones without. This is the type of damage I think it is. Here's the size, and this is the part of the plane that we took that photo at.
Gotcha.
Are you guys looking at just the flat images, or are you doing like photogrammetry and tomography?
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what photogrammetry is, but I know that I've heard Braden talk about it a bunch. So.
I got you on this one.
All right, Mr. CEO.
I learned a couple things. I listen.
Are you trying to be CTO too?
Absolutely not.
The honesty.
This is like when me as like running an app company. I'm like, I know what Flutter is, and I'm like, I can talk about Flutter really quick.
Ivan. Yeah, we're just talking about this. Yeah, be that too. Anyway, so like photogrammetry, like to answer your question on like I know what it is. So photogrammetry is literally what it sounds like. It's like the measurement within photos. So like we're doing like digital image stitching onto like a 2D image stitching into a 3D model representation. So that's how you use photogrammetry, so we can do like the length and width of a damage until we get to the depth. So yeah, there's a lot of photogrammetry techniques and what's going on, lighting angles.
Is that just photography combined with geometry? Is that the
exactly?
Word? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Exactly. You nailed it. You nailed it.
Got
Smarter than he looks.
Smarter than the average bear.
Smarter and got looks.
Good at synthesizing. Way to bring it all down to.
I mean, people are watching like that's actually a good point. Yeah, that is what it is. They're like, I was thinking it. He said it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
for sure. Very cool. Good question. That's why I brought Drew on.
Yeah,
good questions.
Thanks for grounding us in the podcast.
Of course, guys. Of course. From V1 to now, what are the main differences? I don't mean V1 is in like what you sketched up, like the first product that you physically built, and then like maybe even shipped out to like your first aviation client. Difference between that versus like the current product you have right now.
So let's think about it this way. Anytime you start like a company that has robotics, and I know you could probably as someone doing hardware, like you can understand this. I'm like,
hardware is hard.
Hardware. Oh my god, I love it. It's so much fun.
It just takes longer.
It takes longer. It takes anywhere to develop like a usable product. It takes
money.
about
Exactly.
And money. And like very investors that love you. But it takes around like 35 years to actually come out with a product that's usable for the market, especially when you're doing something that's brand new. Like it takes time. So when we first came up with the very original version of Dragonfly, I named it Dragonfly. It's spelled very interesting. It's like dragon with like a G-U-N instead of G-O-N.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course.
Not a Z and an S.
Yeah, I was like, dragons flies.
That was
we're just going to put the rise in the middle of it.
That was rude. That was rude. But you know what? I'll accept it.
Dragon Rise isn't bad.
Dragon Rise.
Mm-hmm. I'm nauseous. Anyway.
I'm telling you, birds happen should still be the shirt.
Birds. I want that T-shirt.
Birds are real.
I want that T-shirt.
No, I literally we were at Unbar a few months ago, and this guy had a shirt that it was a pigeon, and it just said "pigeons aren't real," and that was the shirt. And it's my favorite shirt.
My sister today sent me a link for this website that is just birdsarereal.com.
But there's a whole movement. Oh, yeah. It's a movement. Yeah.
Birds work for the bourgeoisie.
Take them down.
Take them down.
I feel like it could be a meme right now with my face.
It is. Anyway.
Okay, anyway, going back to the question, we're going to resume.
To circle back to that point.
Yeah. So circling back to the point when it came to like our drone. So MBV 1 to MBV 2 was meant to do that. Like the very first drone we made when we got our first set of funding, and like I call it we call it Mantis. It was fucking ugly.
That's a cool name though. Yeah.
It was a cool name. Fucking ugly. Like it was literally like a sandwich board of like all the internals and two carbon fiber like fucking things. There was a quadcopter that like barely functioned as a drone. We were able to sell people on this, but it did because people saw the potential of where the industry and the market's going. So we took not the design cues, but we took like the technology that we built into this, and I took it and like at the end of the day, I'm a product founder. At the end of the day, like I product design, things that I like things aesthetically, and I was like, we need to make sure that this thing is palatable for the industry, like not just palatable, but like I want people to look at this thing as like I love this. This looks amazing. Like, and I want to use this. I want to be engaged with this every day.
Yeah.
And so we took that, and I worked with a firm out in like San Jose that I actually really love, and we created what is now Dragonfly, and it is this artistic mosaic of amazingness that is not only beautiful. I know.
I love that. You keep going. Yeah.
But it's not only it's not only beautiful, but I'm like it's intentional.
Yeah.
Like
I love
it
that.
is high visibility. You can see it. You know what's going on, and it's easy on the eyes.
Yeah, I think there's two.
So to back away up on that also is whenever we've taken it out to testing, out to actual airplane maintenance shops, the guys, the workers, and everybody that comes out and just says, "Hey, that looks awesome." Whenever that you guys are doing that, I want to be the first one in line. Like, and I think that a big part of that is the design of what it looks like. Drone's definitely cool for them to see and work with, but hey, this actually looks cool. I can take a photo of it and show it to my family.
Someone was telling me the other day, like that's kind of this Elon effect. Like he made rockets sexy. Nobody had thought about rockets as an interesting thing, and it's so hard. And it takes so much money and so much time to develop. But he made it interesting, and he made it look good, and he made it like understandable to regular people.
And also with the electric cars, like if you saw them before Tesla, they looked like golf carts, and now they're like sleek, fast, they're fun.
Well, what I like about what you said is two things. The first thing was that like when you're first getting started, you didn't take the time to make it look sexy because like that's a fucking waste. Because like anything you do, it's like wireframing with an app. It's like anything that you make is gonna have to be deleted anyways at some point, or like moved or whatever. So it's like, why would you waste your fucking time making it look pretty when it's going to get deleted anyways? And then the second thing is like the more I get into the tech world, I just like cleanliness and just smoothness and just glossiness. And it's like, you don't like, yes, of course you can easily push a gross looking drone that works out to the government and they'll fucking buy it if it works. Like, unfortunately that's how most of our competition runs their companies. Like accounting firm after government fucking agency will hire and purchase the shittiest, ugliest things. And so the fact that like you took the time to like, they're like, no, I don't give a fuck, we're gonna make it look really, really fucking good too, is awesome. But then like you mentioned, it gives you a leg up too, because then every person that sees it, talks about it, wants to see it, and wants to have it as part of their company too. So I think it has so many benefits to just like making it look like really attractive. So yeah.
On that note, do you guys have anyone in the space that's doing like a similar application of drones that you guys are doing? You have competitors, and what makes you better?
Oh God. To answer your question, we do. So what's great about our company is that we are the only company in the United States, the largest market.
I have a company here actually.
Doing what we're doing?
It's
like great.
They also have a company.
Like I don't have a katana in my pocket. It's great. But we're the only U.S. based like company working in this space. So like we have access to the largest market. Like we can work with the U.S. military without any issues because like we're founded and we're based here.
What
our competitors?
What do you call this space? They have a name, like your specific space?
Drone inspection.
Okay.
Well, I guess drone aircraft inspection.
So like in this case, and like how Boeing says it, because of the conversations we've had with Boeing, is like the remote inspection solutions systems,
specifically for aviation, right?
Specifically
aviation and Roku.
Because there's other inspection companies that do like refineries or infrastructure
or construction.
Are we naming the space right now? What are we calling it?
What are we calling
remote inspection?
Remote inspections. I mean, like again, I'm not gonna come up with anything sexy. I came up with Rise
inspection.
Remote aviation inspection.
Rise. Oh, Rye.
Remote inspection ZSE, whatever.
Inspection. It's so funny because I was dating this this guy in San Francisco, and like he's a director of marketing, and like I was like, okay, people keep mispronouncing like Rye. They say Rizze, whatever. I'm like, how do I get people to think about this and everyone? He's just like, he looks at it, he's just like, change the Z to like red. So people, when they see it in a marketing perspective,
they read Rye.
This is Rye.
But you didn't
Yeah.
do that though. I don't understand what you're saying that for. It's fucking.
I did. This is an old shirt.
Yeah, I was
This
like,
is an
There's a
old
supply
shirt.
chain issue. We're working on getting shirts.
He had no idea we were going to ask him that
We're working
question.
on this. That was
it's like we're waiting until our Series A to get new shirts. This is fun.
boy, maybe, but hopefully coming soon.
I was just staring at your shirt while you're talking. I'm like, what the fucking? This somebody fucking red.
yeah. Again, I thought we were friends.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Take me out to dinner at some
Okay,
point.
yeah, I was gonna say.
But anyway, so to answer your question, we're the only person, like, we're not the only people in this space. Like, there's like 2 other competitors. They're based in the Netherlands. They're based in France. They're working in this space as well.
Sure.
One of the things that I like is that when you have a very like kind of like a blue ocean market, right? There's not a lot of people in this space, right? But you do have a handful. You don't want to be the first ones.
Yeah.
Right, because then
yeah.
because that's a lot of marketing, a lot of engagement that you have to do. Where it's like, we have to be extremely like resilient and scrappy with how we spend our capital.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to go to engineering because what we build is like fundamentally brand new. Like it didn't exist.
Well, you guys are doing the same shit.
Yeah.
Different industry, but like, there's no pipe dream, there's no
no pipe
Rise.
dream,
Like, you guys are literally, it's like the same conversation. But literally,
Yeah.
I had
Their
Deja.
marketing is way better than ours, though.
But you have a cleaner. Well, actually, no, their product's really clean, actually.
You can't see it.
It's
Of course
underground.
it's clean.
Yeah, we put it underground, so it's very, very simple.
It's all in animation.
No, their robot is very sexy. They have like, Pipe Dream has like unnecessarily sexy commercials, and you're like, okay, like unnecessary.
I mean,
Honestly,
what time of night is it? What am I watching?
here's the problem. One of our engineers is super good at renders, and every we'll do actual like product shoots, and they look so good that people think it's a render and they think it's not real. Like that happens all the
That's
time.
a good problem to have.
I guess so, but then we have to convince people like, no, this actually is real.
Just have somebody like standing in the photo or in the video with
Can
it.
we have one of those? Like, wait,
yeah,
what?
for sure.
Yeah, just
I'm
share
like,
it.
we're gonna have conversations about this because the marketing angle is what we really need to work on. That's our biggest thing. It's one of my big focuses.
Connections.
Which,
Why we
know each
strive.
other, but now we know
This
each
is
other
why we
more.
strive.
This is why we strive.
This is why we strive.
Every podcast I've done, Pipe Dream's gotten a sick fucking intro. So like, we're gonna keep this. We're in the Pipe Dream headquarters, by the way. So we're gonna keep pumping it up. One question I
Sponsored
want
by
to
Pipe
ask.
Dream.
What's up?
Sponsored by Pipe Dream.
Sponsored by Pipe Dream.
Jack still needs to provide his input on like why are you better than your competitors.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I mean, the U.S. made is a clear designation. We can go after the U.S. military and any of the MRO shops that do commercial and military. There's a little symbiosis there. We're also at the bleeding edge of LiDAR. There's not really a lot of good LiDAR uses out there, and especially our competitors are a lot of camera-based navigation. They have a leg up on regulation on some parts because working outside of the FAA, but yeah, I mean, other than the tech, it's the people. I think that these guys are super smart.
Wait, so why? I mean, two things. One, every time you guys talk, I'm like, well, one, I'm glad that you're here with Pipe Dream, but also like, I interviewed Ritwick on Friday, and he's literally like doing camera sensors for like for the government infrastructure. Like same thing
for roads and sidewalks.
Yeah. So like, literally, you guys should just talk. Second thing is, so you're saying like, competition, obviously, blah 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 blah, but like, there are other drone companies. Why can't they do what you're doing? Is the main question, I think.
I'll take that one.
Because I'm Colby.
Because I'm Colby. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
No, we're not saying that anyone they can't do what we're doing, but the thing is, to get to where we are is, I mean, that's
they're
the
not
challenge.
doing it.
They're
Is that
not
what you're
doing
saying?
it.
They're not doing it.
And like they're not doing it because either they're large and there's literally like a handful of drone manufacturers that are known. You can get Skydio, you got DJI, and you have these people.
Yeah.
But like they're not doing it because for us, I'm like, I don't know. I woke up on life on hard mode, if I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
From Detroit, I'm not
Nice.
gonna go into my full background, but like it's hard. It's really, really hard, especially when you have a product that doesn't need to be in that specific space. Why would you change your market analysis? Why would you change your product in order to fit a need that's not gonna that for you is not gonna drive like the profits. Like aviation, the aviation industry is flush with cash. Like I think American has like a $2 billion treasury. Like they have a lot of money. I don't know why they're charging us so much money for flights, but whatever, they gotta keep it. But it's not impossible. Again, it's not impossible to create it, but the level of development that it takes to get to where we are. We're a smart startup. You guys understand this.
Yeah.
We're scrappy. We're gonna do whatever we can in order to get there. We're gonna do it in the cheapest and fastest way possible.
For sure.
Large industries, large companies like Boeing, like have tried these, but like when you're at a specific when you're that large, the ratio or the percentage of time that you're going to actually fail trying to like bring one of these to market is high because you don't have the same. You're not hungry. Like you have money. Like if we don't deliver on this, I'm like I'm not eating. I mean, I'll find out a way. I don't know, but like
I'm like tequila 512.
I love to drink my calories. Thanks.
I'm gonna move it out of the way so you can see. Just because I can't see. There we go. Cool. Keep going.
Yeah, but I'm like it's totally possible. Like, but so it's like we're trying to like also like not only building something that's cool, but we're trying to like shine a light on like these. Plus, also the sensor is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Like, like if we want to get like an OS1 LiDAR, we use Ouster as our partner. It's like $12,000 for a sensor.
Try to put 3,000 LiDARs into a small little package or 3,000.
Dude, that's
laser
what I'm always saying.
That also spins and is shock absorbent. Yeah,
my mom told me that every day when I went to school. She's like, "Try fucking, you can't do it. You know?
Can't do it." Yeah.
And now he's in software. I mean, you know,
yeah. That's how you get.
Well, I think you guys are underselling it too. Like there's not a lot of drone manufacturers, period, and I don't think there's very many outside of like the like defense primes that are building for a specific application.
The majority,
definitely not in the inspection industry.
Like DJI and Skydio are consumer grade, right? So you're going to get smaller, cheaper components and probably not as built to last.
And
or you're going to get the Reapers.
And they're only like visual camera, like visual light spectrum cameras, and that's it.
Whereas we're using a laser pointer that tells you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly how
fractionally.
far away that I am from something.
Was that part of the decision to like manufacture your own product, or did you just kind of like start doing that and realize all the benefits afterwards?
So the reason why we like manufacture our own product is because there's nothing on the market today that we can use. We can't use DJI because they're Chinese, and we work with the DoD. So like that's a huge no-no. That's a big flag on that.
Yeah.
Like Skydio was not in existence when we started, so like that wasn't even an option.
Yeah.
Right. So we mostly did it out of necessity. Trust me. Like if we could like, especially when it comes to venture capital raising, if we could like not be in the drone manufacturing business, trust me, that's all right. If I could just buy these things and then just develop the software, I would.
Yeah, but I was gonna say at the same time though, like you were saying earlier, I had the same kind of question. I was like, I think if you had just bought them at some point, you'd be like, "Fuck, we have to do this ourselves anyways." Like you would have.
We did,
and you would have hit that. Well, I
think
think
would have hit that at some point.
Yeah, and it would have gotten
cost
worse
you
and
more.
worse. Yeah, it would have gotten worse and worse.
It
Like,
not only would have cost us money to try to do, but it would cost us the time to get
exactly. Yeah. So
And time is arguably as important as money whenever you're a startup. Because
Yeah.
your money's only gonna last so long, so you got to be efficient with your time.
exactly.
I'm getting really involved in like your money's gonna last very long. Not really.
Isn't that your job, Jack, to make the money last?
Yeah. Colby's taking a pay cut. We're working out of a garage somewhere. We're going to find a field.
Hey, we worked out of a garage for a year and a half.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you got to
You
do.
did too.
Yeah, I've totally been there. Has the chip shortage and the raw materials shortage across the globe affected you guys?
I would say, yeah, definitely. So the long lead part for us at this time are the CPUs, the companion computers that are on there. We're running NVIDIA products on there.
Nanos?
No.
Or TX2s?
TX2s right now.
Freaking kidding me? We're running TX2s. You're the reason I can't buy it.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
Oh
my god! Wow!
We're going to buy your
I
product.
literally
Whoa,
paid
so
$400
crazy.
for one today.
Oh my god.
Really?
$400.
You found some. Hey, good for you.
5 on Amazon. I bought them all. You can't
You
have
guys are so annoying. I'm gonna have to put.
They're downstairs.
I'm gonna have.
We're downstairs just so we kind of know the way.
I think we're done here.
I'll leave you $400.
I'm like, I think we're done here too. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna have to put so many fucking definitions on the screen every 20 seconds. T12s. It's like.
So the TX2 is the NVIDIA chip that controls the drone essentially. Or
Gotcha,
controls-
okay.
It's what the autonomy platform's built on
Yeah,
top of.
it's for small robots.
It's the M1 of the drone community.
Yeah, it's the Intel i5.
He said yes. He said yes.
Yeah, it's like the mid-grade Intel version.
Well, okay,
of the-
but the thought was right.
Yeah. I'm like
there.
for not knowing anything about
Jack's
drones.
very generous.
I am. I've been told
Colby
by a
didn't
nice
care about
guy.
truth.
From zero knowledge, that was pretty close to it.
Raising funding.
That's pretty
Trust me,
good.
I gotta be able to.
I
care about
you were
up
saying
until
the
it's
hardest
money.
component to get is the TX2s
Yeah.
because we need them and you're taking them from us. Other than that,
That's correct.
well, how are you building your supply chain and local manufacturing? Because I'm assuming you're doing local manufacturing.
Yeah.
How are you building that to be robust in the future?
Yeah. So our manufacturer right now, because we're at a low rate production, is here in Austin. He's a big drone enthusiast. Does runs of 1,000 drones at a time for mostly for cinematography.
That's a
So
lot.
he's helping us with he does from micro to a foot long.
What does that a time mean? Like if you do it in 1,000 at a time, like what's the like the time range on that? And I know it's hard to answer.
For him.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's his business. Like he makes drones on his own, and we're using him to manufacture ours. But
Gotcha.
I don't know, to do 1,000 drones is probably a month for him.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
We don't.
Well, he
do
has like a CNC
that
press, like all that stuff at his shop, just over there at the end of Mopac. If you take 45 west for a little bit. Oh, QSL, Quad Standard
We'll
Labs.
put the address up.
Troy is phenomenal. Super smart
We're
guy.
gonna send this to Troy and be like, hey,
Yeah, I want an intro. For
Yeah,
manufacturing, like,
yeah. We don't want. The thing is, like, we don't want to do the manufacturing ourselves.
Although I will say he did buy 150 Jetson TX2s recently, so he might be a
well,
positive.
definitely want an intro to Troy then.
Yeah.
He's like, where are we at? I'm like, I want to come say hi.
Say a peace of mind. Okay, go ahead.
But for him, like if we have all the parts, he says he can build one in about 3 days. The NVIDIA chips being, I don't know, if you can find them online, then whatever the shipping time is. But for the Xavier, if you go to that, you're looking at like 30 weeks to get one of those.
Those are expensive.
Yeah, I mean they're orders of magnitude stronger in processing power. So for us, that's a big deal because we can start to load on a lot more of the algorithms and control onto the platform itself.
Yeah.
You need to answer that? We good?
Because partially
Okay,
it is a offline mode capable, right? You can just set up a little local network and fly around.
Mm-hmm.
But currently the processing has to be done either in the cloud or on a server.
Okay, so you guys are doing your like navigation processing on the server, or are you doing it off?
No. So the drone flies by itself and captures all the data and stores it on board. But you have to pull the images off and then run those through where the damage is, what type
So
of
the
damage
data
is.
processing is done in the cloud. That's
Yeah.
probably for the
I totally
But
forgot.
if you can
Oh,
move to
wait,
the
hold on.
Xavier, you can.
Yeah, we do
Boom.
like edge computing in Xavier.
Drew, tell them what you have your degree in. We didn't fucking mention this.
in drones.
Yeah.
My degree in drones. That degree or the
I
other
forgot about that.
Drones. I'm like, are you looking for?
He's asking
degree? Alternate intro for Drew. The master's degree in aerospace, specifically for drones and autonomy.
Yeah, I totally forgot that.
Well, whenever you're looking for a degree,
If you're not busy,
I'm like, I know he.
I'll show a little leg if I have to. Like, you're gonna figure it out.
Well, because I was sitting here, I was like, I know Drew knows a lot of stuff about this, but I'm like, he knows a lot of. And I was like, oh fuck, he has his master's in drones.
6 years of my life.
I was like,
Corey just he goes, Drew seems to know a lot about drones.
no, I forgot because we discussed this. He's like, well, I have my master's. I'm like, well,
Isn't that why I'm here?
Yeah, no, literally. But I forgot to mention it.
All good. It's not about me. It's about them.
Exactly.
And Jack was finishing his explanation of how they're making their supply chain robust in the like current market, because that's a big thing for hardware companies. Like it doesn't affect software, but
Yeah, and
I let him figure that out.
I mean, the majority of the components are off the shelf, either wiring or a few computers on board. The majority of the cost comes from the LiDAR and the raw material, the structure of it. But the structure is and the camera. So different cameras cost different amounts. But I mean, the structure as far as a 3D print and a carbon fiber, it's not taking damage. It's not like that's not a critical piece other than
Ideally, it's not
structure.
taking
Yeah.
damage.
Well,
Hey, birds happen.
The DoD isn't going to care that the carbon is from Japan or something like that.
Sure.
They're more concerned about what is the data going through. Can we ensure that is not going to be compromising to the system itself?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And is there any strategy to being here in Austin? Because like that's part of the podcast. Is like this is about Austin startups, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can answer this question.
Yeah.
If you want to.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, cool. Well, so the strategy behind moving to Austin and why I moved the company is a couple of reasons. First reason, like I used to live in San Francisco too. Trust me, I love San Francisco. I'll probably at some point will end up moving back there.
You visit there still? Well, I see you going all the time.
All the time.
All the time. All the
That's why
time.
we never get to hang out. So
All the time. All the time.
But I go back to San Francisco pretty much. But like when we first started, like we first got a set of funding. Right? I'm like, okay, I can be in San Francisco again. I love it. But I'm like, I looked at my runway and we either go from here, or we can like stay in San Francisco and go to here. So we ultimately I didn't know where we were gonna go. My co-founder was just like, hey, why don't we look at Austin? I was like, Texas? Like, I mean, I'll take a look. Yeah, sure, whatever. I ended up going to Phoenix for a little bit. I'm like, okay, the startup community and scene is growing substantially here, substantially. And I'm like, you know what? It kind of makes a lot of sense for us to move here. Plus, you have Southwest, you have American, you have Lockheed, you have Boeing, you have SpaceX, you have all.
We got Virgin now, baby.
You got Virgin.
Well, one flight, but yeah, we got them.
I'm trying to give Richard Branson. If you
I actually have a connect. I'm interviewing the connection in next month.
I I have like 2 of them, so I just gotta get to my friend. Just
Whoa.
like 5. No, my friend just like he just went to like whatever
Just
the island
dunked on
is.
you.
He is. He
I have 17. It's like, okay.
I'm not trying to.
Never
run out,
mind.
but, like,
If they're having
works,
dinner
it
after this
works.
podcast,
I mean, I'm trying.
All right, Richard, come in.
He's like, fuck you, Corey.
Surprise guest. Just want you to know. No. Like I have a friend that just went to like whatever the island is that he owns. Just like he just
Oh,
has,
wait,
like,
wait,
$5
what's his
million
name?
Nick.
The black dude, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
all.
yeah. I was supposed to meet with him when Virgin was here. We couldn't do it, and then I see on Instagram a week later he's fucking with Richard Branson
Yeah,
on the
he
island,
is,
and
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
So he's one of my good
like-
friends. God, we went through and get senses. We went through some trouble together. I'm not gonna get on this podcast, but we'll talk about it later.
yeah,
You already doxed him.
yeah. I
I mean,
did.
yeah. So like,
Yeah.
it's like $5 million and they're coming from. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is there's a lot of like opportunity in terms of like the business. And it's just like the location of the
Yeah.
businesses here, right?
and it's
There's
like you were
that.
just saying, like Richard Branson was in town and
Yeah.
talking to people and
Mhm.
doing stuff, and you know,
Yeah.
other influential people are here in town, right?
The pipe dreams here.
That's
we strive.
Well, no, we moved here to be a part of that. Honestly,
Yeah.
we went.
I'm here.
We
Yeah,
made.
yeah.
I think you shared in the
He's
first
here.
episode,
Yeah.
right? Like the spreadsheet we made of where to move pipe dream.
I'll put it up again. This is gonna be the 3rd time in 5 episodes I put
Sorry,
it up.
I'm sorry. It's
Every
It's so
episode is-
funny.
Sponsored by Excel.
No. No. I was about to give a shout out to Corey. Actually,
Here's the spreadsheet.
we made the spreadsheet, and then Austin was not at the top, and then we went to Corey's first beer pong tournament for Tech, and loved Austin.
Oh, you played that too?
That's where I knew you from.
Oh, we did the first one.
Yeah, he was. They got pretty far too.
Yeah, we did.
I'm telling you, know what's really funny?
We did
Yeah.
not. We.
Oh no,
didn't go to ASU.
Let me.
You didn't go to
No. We didn't need to talk about it.
No, because
It's about them. No,
they
this is about
brought
them.
they
This is
brought
about
it was
them.
double elimination. They brought 3 teams. They won 1 game. They went 1-5 with
Tough
3
luck.
teams. Amazing
I
stuff.
trained my boys.
Yeah, the Rise team went pretty far.
Yeah,
You know what's
we
hilarious?
did.
I have so many friends in tech that are like Series A and beyond, whatever, and they're like, they met at one of my stupid beer pong tournaments.
I met so many people that I'm like
It's not
close
stupid.
friends with now at your first beer pong.
It's
tournament.
insane. It's literally insane.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's stupid. Like it's a fucking.
It is,
It's awesome.
and I can't
It's
believe
awesome.
there's only one more left.
I'm gonna turn
I
30
don't
next
believe
year.
it.
I don't
I
want to
don't
be
believe
still
it.
hosting beer pong tournaments when I'm like 30 years
Oh,
old.
keep going.
I want to keep going to them, but yeah. Well listen.
How old are you?
Beer pong is a
Turn 30 in April. So
God. Well,
yeah.
you look amazing. So just
Thank you
take
so much.
that
Thank you
as
so
it
much,
is.
sir. Thank you so
It's
much.
Like, it's just like
Thank you so
like
much.
yes, the blood of my enemies. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so how much have you guys raised so far? And I'm gonna ask you specifically because earlier you mentioned boyfriend. So obviously, like, I was gonna ask you about how is it raising as a Black founder and also LGBTQ community as well. Because gotta ask it.
Yeah,
Gotta ask it.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's fair enough. Like,
Yeah.
one, most people like when you ever meet me, like you never know. It's not like I'm hiding anything, but it's
Yeah.
you just really never know. So,
Mhm. That you're black or
for
that
me, no, the black part, no, the black part for sure is totally that. Don't let this exterior like show.
I will say, because Drew shook my hand when I got here, he goes, you don't look like Colby.
No, I know Colby. I knew
literally-
you were.
that literally happened.
I knew you were Colby. My CTO brought Jack upstairs. He's like, I think this is Colby, and I was like, that you're not Colby.
But you didn't say it confidently. You're like, you're not.
Again, you don't see the family resemblance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm like, I'm a quarter Irish.
How am I
so
supposed to
it's,
answer that?
like,
How am I supposed to answer
You just
that?
leave it. Just hush. I'll answer, but.
You were saying as a fundraiser.
I was saying in terms of fundraising. So to date, like we're actually currently closing like a fundraising right now.
Okay.
Like at least like a part of it. I'm probably gonna raise another $1 million.
Is
But
this
like
is this your seed? Your
this
pre-seed?
is like kind of like a C2. I mean,
Okay.
you can really think about it.
We never want to say Series A.
No,
That's a pre-A.
It's our 14th seed.
There's a lot
Seed.
of, there's a lot of
It's
metrics.
It's a seed, bridge.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of metrics so that I actually don't even tell people like the round that we're raising. When
Yeah.
I fundraise, I'm like just saying like we're raising a round.
Yeah.
Because like I don't need to put a label on it.
You-
Most people don't know.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Because
label it.
every
That's all.
fucking region of the country is like, oh, in San Francisco, this is what a seed should be.
Yeah, there's
in
different
in
expectations.
Austin,
Different
you're,
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
that's a.
different everywhere.
I'm gonna
What?
write that fucking down. That's a good fucking.
That's a good point.
That's
So
good.
what-
I gotta give props to Gochi. Love her. You see her in the next episode.
I'm interviewing her Monday.
What are you doing with what you're raising right now?
So I'll answer the first question.
Yeah.
And then I'll
Yeah, I was
do
like,
the
what-
other one.
Yeah.
So to answer the first question, to date we have raised, and then we're currently closing another round,
Mhm.
it's a part of closing round. So
Mhm.
about 6.2 million.
Very cool.
Let's go.
Hell, I'm gonna put a tiny
it's
bit.
taken a lot of time.
We don't have any more. I'm gonna cheers
Yeah,
to that.
we need another
please.
like half
I
shot
need
for that.
this because I'm telling you,
Try one of the
this has been a journey for us. Like it's not been it's not been easy to do.
Yeah.
And I'm a first time founder, so I've made my mistakes. Like don't let anyone tell you that you're not gonna I made a lot of mistakes along the way. But it's how you kind of like you think about it, you structure yourself so you can get out of those mistakes and just build what you want to build.
Exactly.
So in terms of what it's like building this company, I mean, it's a very male-centric dominated. It's just
6.2 million really quick. Sorry, you got
Yeah.
6.2 million.
Good cheers,
We'll be
guys.
7.2 after this.
One more cheers.
After I
I'll
close
cheers
this,
for another million. I'll cheers for it.
Cheers another million. Yeah. So I'm like after this whole thing, I have an announcement of like Pride Fund tomorrow. Like if you guys want to show up at Capital Factory, I'm gonna
I'll
do
be
a
there.
pitch. Yeah,
Oh, you're
that's
gonna
awesome.
pitch tomorrow?
I'm doing the last one.
Why are you pitching? You got like fucking millions of dollars.
Because $1 million is in a robotics
Do
company.
you not remember hardware is hard?
I was just kidding. I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah, it's on my
you
So you
calendar.
passed me that bottle. I drank it, man. I thought we were doing.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, I took it on. I was like,
Mr. Jack.
as a Latino in the room,
He
you know,
is
I
here.
feel like this is just.
What's
you
your-
know,
what's
it's in my
your
blood.
skin
It's in my
bottle?
blood.
Hold on.
Pause. Earlier,
your
you said you were
blood.
Latino. You said you were Latino off camera. Please explain that really quick, because everyone's watching. Like,
Good God.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, he fucked me up when I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah, so I am Latino, Jack Medellin, Medelin. My dad was born in Mexico City. My mom was born in Tokyo, Japan. I was born in Texas. She's white.
What?
But she was born on.
okay, I was like, there's no way.
I always throw that in because the Mexican are like, okay, and then the Tokyo they go, okay, no, you're a total liar.
My
What's
mom
going
was
on
born in
here?
Okinawa, so like, yeah.
Say, wait,
Okay.
what?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we all have Japanese moms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a
Very
great
cool.
grandmother, but
Very
in,
cool.
Close enough.
in name only, but yeah. So my dad, born in Mexico City, then moved to Acapulco at like 7, then back to Mexico City at like 12,
Okay.
and then both my parents went to school in San Antonio at St. Mary's.
Okay.
That's where
Oh.
they met, and then moved up to Dallas and
And then- and then Rise.
And
So
so
had him, and then later after Lockheed,
Yeah.
then Rise.
whenever I was working for Lockheed and getting my security clearance, and I did the interview, the lady,
Did
she's
you
like,
pour the, you didn't pour the drink
sorry.
yet. You were like putting the lid on it. It's like,
Don't remind him.
and
He's
she
right.
goes, wait, so you were born in America? Yes. So you're an American? Yes. And she goes, and then you became Mexican? Like, yeah. 11 years old.
Like a
we were
transformer.
at the consulate, and she goes, oh, first time I've seen that. I'm like, yeah, I don't really gain much.
did
but,
they
know,
give
it's
you a
just-
security clearance?
Yeah. It took a little bit longer, but they're
Nice.
like,
You all checked out?
you became a Mexican.
yeah. And so I went up to Maryland to work also, and also had to have a clearance to be up there. And I said I was a dual citizen. They go, huh? Well, we didn't know that. So until you can prove it, you have to leave. I was like, you're mad that I might not be Mexican? That's what you're concerned about? But I might. I'm sure they're just like,
He's definitely American.
here's a
Might
redhead
not be
saying he's Mexican, total liar.
All right, boys, my privilege.
Get out of here
It's
until
different. It's not the same here for us.
That
Like,
is-
well, for you. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's got a fuck. It's such an interesting story. Like, I love it every time I hear it because I'm just like, it's the shock value.
I'm gonna have you scoot in because you're like 8 feet
Oh
away
yeah,
from the
no,
mic.
I'm gonna go. My voice is like,
Like,
my
What
voice.
I was saying
Oh,
is,
shit.
It's a very easy fun fact.
Anywho,
How is it fundraising? Like that?
yeah. And how's it fundraising? It's as you know, it's hard. It's not easy at all because the thing is, when it comes to something like when you're dealing with like raising capital for hardware companies. I mean, like again, we're a software company at our core.
And
we
hardware.
just have
Yeah.
a hardware component in the business.
Mm.
And when it comes to raising capital for that, it's difficult because I have to explain. Like again, like I multiple times when I've gone through fundraising, like okay, we want to see these metrics, we want to see these metrics. I'm like, and I go and I get these metrics. I get LOIs from big name companies. These ones, but like, okay, well, we want to see you actually deploy it. Like they move the goalposts,
Yeah.
right? Which is really frustrating, especially when you're just like, I have something that this industry wants. I just need the capital to get there.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, I mean, as far as I know, like when it comes to doing fundraising, because again, like no one ever know, like, I'm like, I am very proud of who I am.
Yeah.
And I will always be proud of who I am.
We are too.
Yeah, we're proud of you also.
Yeah. Fuck you, Colby.
Cheers to Colby.
That's my man. I love that. I'm like, don't you don't you ever curse on me ever again. Anyway,
That rule applies to you too, Colby. Okay, keep going.
I think the podcast is just done right there.
Yeah, no. But like, I'm really proud of who I am and what I've accomplished and what I've built and the people that the amazing people that I've been able to attract into following me about this fucking crazy business, right? Like
The Latino community, of course.
Yeah, Latino, the whatever. Anyway,
Very diverse.
love it, but I've never once felt like because of like racially who I am, sexually. Again, I don't like it's also not like pronounced. But like if you ever ask me,
It's not in your deck.
I'm never gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna lie to you and say I'm just like never mind. I'm never gonna lie to you and say who I'm not. But the thing is like I think for me it has shaped me to be a much more well-rounded person and how to interact in a way. It might be like a little bit unnatural. But it's taught me how to become successful in a field that's generally not. And plus, I've gone through so many like in being a minority, being a black person. I mean, a black male, being a gay male. Like I've had to learn. I've already grown up through adversity from trading things. Like so, I'm like when I have a VC that tells me like we're not going to invest you for this reason. I'm like it doesn't bother me anymore. Like I mean, it didn't literally. At the beginning, but I'm like I have faced much harder things in my life than you telling me no. And no matter at the end of the day, no matter what I do, I am going to be successful because of the effort and the energy that I put into my business on a day-to-day basis. Period.
Love that.
Do we need to get more tequila on the podcast?
He puts in crazy effort too. I can tell you. I'll get an email at 9:30 at night saying, "Hey, here's this document if you want to review it." And I'm like,
if you want to review
it, like snooze,
like right now.
Right. For me, it's indirect leadership. Like I try not to do. I was like, hey, so when you get a chance, I'm just gonna slide this across your desk really fast. Yeah.
I have one of the focuses in my phone as for sleep, and I had to let Slack through. I'm like, okay, just in case, don't know what's gonna come through.
It's not bad.
Yeah, what is your work-life balance like? Because it's bad at startups, but it's particularly bad at hardware startups that are early stage.
It's so
not that I would know.
All that I can. Well, so first back to Colby when I was interviewing with him. Didn't really think anything of it, and then all of a sudden, like the second interview, he drops his boyfriend. I was like, Colby's gay. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Like very, very reasonable guy, a great person to be around.
I do that on purpose.
Don't care about the sexuality. Don't care about anything.
I like that. You let him. Yeah.
I literally do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
and you should. Yeah, you don't want to be like 4 months in. Like, by the way, he's my boyfriend. They're like.
The thing is, like, again, I'm not putting like sexuality and anything on blast, but I'm like, I also am like, I'm not going to hire people that are not. That are accepting. That are accepting. Like something now. Like again, if you're telling the person, that's great. But I'm like, if you're a cultural poison.
Yeah.
Especially at a startup, I mean, you're so small, right? Like a bad hire is gonna.
And you're so sensitive to that early on too.
Yeah.
But shoot, what was the last question they had?
Work-life balance,
the
culture in general. How's Colby as a boss?
All I can really do is to compare it to my time at Lockheed. So 5 or 6 years there, it's a very stable, stagnant set of stress, right? It's not going to be too high, too low. It's just always like a bare level of stress. Versus here, it's peaks and valleys, right? So there are times where you're just going balls to the wall for 3, 4, 5 weeks. And then there's some little periods where it's like it's a bit of a time to let off the gas. We're waiting on some contracts to come through or some development to come through or some meetings, and then you're going back to it. So it's high stress and low stress, which is good. I kind of like that up and down.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
I was wondering, like, how do you deal with this with me? I'm like, I see it for myself, and I go through it. I'm like, I've already given.
Well, and you're so communicative with everything that I can see it coming. Like I'm like, okay, this is coming down the pipe. This is coming down the pipe. Next week is going to be a bear. We'll be there from 8 to 8. Every day, and then check an email before.
So you don't feel bad about taking like the Friday off beforehand, knowing that week is coming.
Exactly.
I always make sure that he like when he would say something like I will catch up with it. Like I'm like. I did operations. I did everything. I'm like, listen, Jack. I'm like, even if it means for me, like, it's gonna be more stress for me. And I just said, like, what I care about is like, I care about my people, and I care about them living a good life. So I'm just like, you just like, I gotta go. One of my friends is like pitching at this game. I'm like, go do it. Have fun.
Like, so last week, one of my friends, she works for Fanatics, which bought Topps, the trading card company, but obviously they make a lot of sports gear. But they get a certain amount of first pitches because of their connection to like MLB. So she was going and throwing the first pitch at the Astros game last
Oh, it
week.
was so cool.
And I was like, Cole was like, hey, this is coming through. And I was like, well, my friend is pitching at the Astros game on Tuesday. He goes, okay, yeah, do that, but on Wednesday we got an investor to talk to.
Yeah.
Okay, deal.
That's awesome.
That's what I love about startups is like, and I was telling someone the other day is like, I was interviewing the founder of Stocks, and he was talking about like how they just took a different path to fundraising, and I was like, I agree with that. Like, I hate how like typical company is just 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. It's like you can get done with your shit. You can go to your Astros game, and then you can work more the next day. Like, just fucking do it. Like, it's just like what? Like, just like startups should be like very stressful. Of course, they should be. So we have a big upside, but like they should be fun, and you should be able to do what you want, and then like work a shit ton. Basically, it's a good like work-life balance that we need to have.
When you're working a ton, you should be inspired to like.
Yeah,
You should
enjoy
be there
your time off.
because you're enjoying being at work, and you also enjoy being off.
Not at work.
Not feeling
Yeah.
not feeling guilty about it.
Yeah, plus like I worked my butt off. So and then I'm gonna go off and watch the new Westworld on Netflix for 4 hours.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
I'm like 2 seasons behind.
So good. Figure it out.
There's
Figure
too
it
many
out.
good shows.
We're not going to talk about this
What?
right now. But
There's
figure it
too
out.
many good shows.
Westworld is top though.
Westworld-
Of course,
you
of
should-
course,
you should
of
be-
course.
They're kind of going crazy with this new one, but
It's gotten
the
wild.
cinematography is
Amazing.
phenomenal.
Sponsored by Westworld.
I love the
HBO Max, we appreciate it.
Please, we're startup founders. We can't afford it.
HBO minimum.
I love the callback to season 1,
Oh,
Yeah.
so cool.
and honestly, that's kind of relevant.
Yeah,
to,
la,
like,
la, 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 la.
Anyway,
No,
we're gonna go back.
I haven't
So
watched it
William-
yet.
We'll talk about this.
I
We'll
swear
talk
to-
about this later.
Are you
have my
serious?
number. We'll
For
figure this
sure.
out.
I hate hearing any story because then the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, when is this going to happen? And
Yeah,
then
it's
it ruins
not-
the
it's
show
not-
for me.
it's
So
But going back
in
to
the Sixth Sense, I don't want to spoil it for you, but
going back to like the entire question, like when it comes to company culture, like I've never had anyone like obviously there's been things like if I've ever had to have people leave, it's like okay, can do your sponsorship or like there's a reason, but I've never had anyone just like I hated working here ever.
Yeah.
Because I'm like I try to establish this culture where like I try to be as communicative as possible. It's as a founder, it's hard sometimes because you're like I don't know exactly what I should and shouldn't share because I don't want to fucking scare people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Um,
you don't want to lie to them either.
I don't want to lie to them either. So I'm just like, it's this. I try to establish this culture where it's like we all trust one another and we can have that open communication. Like I have my board, like one of my investors is the CEO of the largest private jet maintenance companies in the world. Amazing man.
That's cool.
Sent me on a private jet. It was great. It was
very
fun.
good dude.
Great guy. We're gonna do
Sponsored
it
by
again.
private jets.
Sponsored by. Like I said, name. I don't know if you appreciate me saying it.
No,
It's
don't do
amazing.
it.
Please don't.
It's Gulfstream. No.
It was actually Challenger, but it was cool. But I try to make sure that we have a culture, and he can talk to this more. That like it's not oppressive, right? Like I don't get me wrong. Like I want things and I want things now, but I make sure that I'm like it's in a like we have a business. At the end of the day, we have a business to run.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I trust my team enough, and they are capable of performing. Like.
Well, and I think you've done a very good job of hiring motivated individuals at this time, which is what you I mean, that's the lifeblood of a startup, right? Because you cannot have. Sorry about hitting the thing. You don't have enough time to be watching everybody, day to day. So you've got to have the ability and the trust to have everybody work on what they want to do. And then from the top, obviously, you set here's where we're trying to hit. In 2 weeks, we got to do this. In 2 months, we got to do that. And then by the end of the year, we need to do this.
Also, I told him not to bang on the table, and he did, and then he grabbed his. I was like, love that.
We're too close. We got. I gotta start driving a wedge in between.
I was like, I love that.
You're not getting my birthday this weekend. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, your birthday's Monday.
My birthday is Monday. Yeah.
It's not the weekend. All right, so
Are you turning 30? Is that right?
27.
27.
okay, all right, big old 2-7.
He accused me of being 33 early.
Black don't. I'm gonna listen. Cocoa butter and shea butter. If you want to know,
There you go.
that's why we don't crack. Anyway.
Yeah, turn black, don't crack.
If you sold the company today, what would you do? And what would you sell it for?
If I sold the company, you know what? In the very beginning, I actually thought about this question, and I never knew how to answer it.
Well, in the beginning, you always were like, I'm a 20 billion.
Yeah,
You're like-
no, I'm just gonna do it, but like right now,
Yeah.
that's a really great question. If I
Yeah.
were to sell this company, I gotta be honest. I mean, going through what I've gone through over the past couple of months, and he just got a little like influence of it. I'm just like, I don't know if I would start a company again. But I say that.
Oh,
now.
hell no.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if I'd do it again. But I'm like,
Give it a year.
Yeah.
that's exactly what
People
my
forget.
guys
You,
would say,
you
like,
forget.
Give it a
Yeah,
year.
Yeah.
I would fuck off for a year. Period.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, if I were to sell it now, like I wanted to take this all the way to IPO. I'm like, if someone gave, I think my minimum number to sell the company is 800 million. I still at 800 million, near unicorn status.
Do I hear an 850?
Right here on the Why We Strive podcast.
I will sell it to you for a little bit less than that. Don't
Well, because
worry.
I've interviewed people who are like, I wouldn't sell it for less than 10 billion. I'm like, yeah, you fucking would.
You have to be.
tell me.
And I go, it was John. John at Stonks. I called him out. I was like, you wouldn't do it for 8 billion? He goes, nope. And he's like, well his logic was 10. Because he's like, he actually had a good stat. He goes, in 2018 alone, like years ago, there was 125 unicorns in 2018. So now there's probably like 1,000. So he's like, I want to be a decacorn. That's what he worded it as, 10 billion. So I get
it's a different market back 4 years ago, though.
I get that, but I'm also like, you would say yes to $8 billion.
Trust me. Again, that's what I'm saying.
It would take much less than that.
My lowest. That's what I'm saying. Like my lowest, and this is me being very conservative, is $800 million. The market's $8 billion.
750 million. You're saying no.
Well, you gotta remember,
$300 million tomorrow. You're saying no?
Depends on how much I'm taking.
That's what I'm saying.
Your grandchildren wouldn't have to work. That is.
Like,
again, you have to realize I have investors that we have to pay out first. I'm like the last person.
What's your
like lottery, like whatever the number is, you get like 30% of that.
Plus taxes.
and they're inventing an industry. You got to remember that. Like if they're that level of successful, they're probably going to be able to scale it, a little bit farther.
the remote inspection aviation industry? Yeah, they are.
It's an 8,
RIA.
It's like, I can't give you this. Like, I can't remember like who made it, but like it's an 8 by 2029. It's expected to be like an $8 billion industry.
Just you guys?
Yeah, right. Like, I don't expect to like take the entire like addressable market, right? Like I don't. We can.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Jack plans to.
There's like one or two.
What am I doing here?
There's like 1 or 2 airlines that are gonna use we'll take most of it, so I'll take like 7.8 billion.
Yeah, they got fair enough.
But like at the end of the day, like so realistically, if I'm gonna be very realistic, like what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that personally, especially with that last year that I've had. I'm gonna fuck off for a year, and I'm going to focus on my mental health, my family, and things that I love, and figure out what I actually ultimately want to do. And what I'm willing to do is everything that I've gone through. I want to help other companies and startups, if that be the venture route or just being an advisor or mentors, is from, hey, don't make these stupid mistakes, because I did it already. Like, I want to help in that format, and I'm doing it now. Like, I love helping and mentoring companies. Just like, if you ever take money on a convertible note, I will slap the dog shit out of you. No, so we're not doing that.
Your next company's hardware ventures, just strictly investing in hardware, making it easier for that path.
I mean,
honestly, that's a good idea. There's not a lot of hardware dedicated firms.
This hardware club, but like it's
being friendly to them and helping them go along. You could corner the market there.
And understanding the need to like follow on too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like I would water it, see how it grows, and then provide mentorship, and then if it as it's doing well, like the normal venture capital route, right? Like model, like that's what ultimately at the end of the day what I would want to do. Because like again, right now. Again, my lowest would be the 800 million. If, like, if Boeing came in tomorrow and said, like, we're going to pay you this, we want your algorithms and everything else, we want to have you as the CEO for a little bit and then transition. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Again, I'm going to fuck off to Mykonos for a year. I'm like, that's my goal. But, like, that's, hopefully that answers the question.
There you go. You have more questions? I got one more.
I will say I will take less than that. But what I'm going to do with that money is
anyone's watching.
I'd buy every parking garage in Austin and just let that money print.
There you go.
There's no upkeep. You just take a power washer there every 6 months, and it just, at $2 every 30 minutes, you're making money.
He's gonna also I'm gonna give him like a good chunk of my money so he can manage our fund, our wealth. I'm just gonna let him do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And that portion.
I appreciate that.
Nice. I appreciate that.
You can use your drones to inspect your planes too. At that point.
The drones could also inspect the parking garage if it's dirty or not.
That's actually a great idea.
I was gonna walk
too much maintenance costs. We're getting somebody.
Don't give away their secrets.
We're putting
sorry.
The homeless in Austin to work and just say, walk the garage. If for every sack of trash that you bring back, here's
actually a good idea.
A certain chunk of money to go ahead.
That's actually a really good.
That's a really good idea. You should do that.
Oh, hey, sorry, Colby. I think I may have another option.
I'm gonna fight you. Like if you leave, I will cry.
It's called.
It can be a division of the company.
Exactly. It's called parking garages.
It's Rise Cares.
Yeah. No. Well, we do that. We do side projects. To make
we
money.
rise. We rise.
We rise. Why we rise?
Why we rise?
I love it. I'm
Love
here
that.
for it. Wait, I'm here for this. You know what? We're gonna talk about this offline. Anyway,
Yeah,
go
but
ahead. Sorry. I got
We
excited.
have birds happen and we rise. Guys, what am I here for?
All right.
Give me all
We just
that
gotta get a product and then we're good.
On the off chance you guys have not exited 5 years from now, what does your company look like?
Working in space.
Space
so,
inspections.
Space asset resilience. So one
Love
of the
that.
biggest things for me, like my biggest goal, and like I'm a Trekkie. I mean, Stargate's my biggest thing. I grew up with that.
Stargate? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Bro, I love Stargate.
But we're gonna have a lot
Whoa,
of
crazy! No one
conversations
saw
later.
that coming.
There's a bromance that is happening on camera that I want everyone.
Atlantis or Universe?
So good. Universe was shit, but like
How dare you?
it was not as good as it. We're gonna talk about this.
But
later.
Atlanta was the best.
Yes, Atlantis was the absolute. Like, it was so good.
Corey, where did
Never
you
seen
find
any
these
of
people?
them.
This is
Anywho,
I know.
we're gonna talk about this later.
You're saying
I'm
5
more-
years,
I'm more of a
5
DC
years
guy.
from now.
If
5 years
if
from
you have
now.
not watched like Star Trek Discovery and like the new one with like Picard, amazing. Anyway,
You think I haven't watched those?
I know you have.
Oh my gosh. Anyways,
So anyway,
space
so, like,
resiliency.
Space resilience, and there's a big thing that's going on, especially with space as resilience. That's what I'm saying.
You
For
see
all
what I'm
mankind. Yeah, sorry.
Corey
I
and
gotta
I
close-
are
Jack's
I'm
rolling
close
out
to
of
it.
frame.
If I get close to him, I'm not upset about it. But like space asset resiliency is so important. Like one of my investors and advisors, he was an executive at a company called Canopy. It's a big defense company. He can
Good dude.
great dude, one of the sweetest men. When he says he can make someone disappear, I believe him. Former Navy SEAL, no, former Marine.
Marine, yeah. He was. We were talking to him. They made movies based on the companies that he worked for.
Very cool.
Can
He's
you
scary.
say any of those names? Or
No.
I don't remember him, so
Fair enough.
I'm sorry, I can't
No.
tell you.
Because you erased your memory?
No,
Maybe. Monsters of Man, maybe. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
With the clearance, there were certain things that I couldn't tell, but my friends would always try to like bait me into it. Like, so you want to go to this country? I'm like,
No.
nah, not really. Is it because you can't or you don't want to?
Again,
I don't want to.
yin yang.
Wait, are you ex-military or
Loki kinda
what?
love
No.
No, he's not.
But
Yes,
working for Lockheed, I had to get a security
classified
clearance.
information is heady. Probably
Secret
can't.
level, yeah.
he'd
The
be-
whole
he'd-
time
he'd be
you-
kidnapped if he
Whole
went.
time you've been talking like you talk like you're like 40 years Marines. You're like,
Yeah.
it was.
Well, I was
Right?
I mean,
Isn't it
six years, and I spent a bunch of time at a base. Like, so I spent 7 months in Maryland,
Yeah.
closing out the development contract for the F-35. Super cool to
Yeah.
see, but it's all suit and tie.
You know enough
Yeah.
that you wouldn't go to certain countries because you'd be kidnapped, right? Like,
I mean, maybe I don't know, but there are certain countries that are definitely not friendly. That there is a public list of countries that from a scale of 1 to 5, a green to red, or where they not, you should go their threat level.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, today's like from my perspective, like again, like I almost worked at Amazon, so they flew me out over this whole thing. I didn't accept the job, but it was like I was like gonna work on GovCloud, so they started like
Yeah.
you have to get your secret clearance, and they like in the interview process they make you start the process.
That's
Like,
crazy.
because it takes so long.
It's a long document
It's a
too.
long,
The
long
SF-86, I
document.
think mine was like 110 pages.
Jesus.
crazy.
Mhm.
I got interviewed for one of my friends that got a TSSCI
That's what I was
Yeah.
getting. That's what I was
clearance,
getting.
and
Mine was
it
a
was,
secret.
it was the weirdest thing. The agent that was doing background check flew out to where I was living at the time, and she met me at a Krispy Kreme donuts
Yum.
To do an interview?
to do the like TSSCI interview on my friend and asked
A
him, like,
she
on-
flew up
yeah.
for a referral interview.
They,
Yeah, no,
they
100%.
fly out.
For that
they fly
level,
out.
they
what
check
is-
it.
What is a TSSSI? What is it?
Top
secret, secure,
Okay, you fucking
compartmentalized,
nerds.
and
Yeah.
Top
yeah,
secret.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I love
You're
how we
watching
all-
Disney
all together
Channel.
I love how we all know this. Corey's like, I don't know what's happening right now.
so you know a skiff? Have you heard that term? It's like a room that is for a specific type of information to be shared.
Let's assume he's not.
Yeah,
Explain
I've
it to
heard
us.
that
Oh,
word
so
one time. I
What
don't
I'm
know.
saying is the SCI in skiff. It's
How's this
SCIF.
for, what, do I need to know this shit?
It's
No.
for
Okay, go
secure
ahead.
compartmentalized information, and then
Okay,
the F is
gotcha.
for facility.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
the SCI and TSSCI is the same as the
Gotcha.
first in skiff.
Cool.
Basically, they were all working on the same thing, but they only know like part of the thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's- yeah, it's
In
crazy.
Palmdale at Skunk Works, I spent some time out there too. They have like a badge that has a bunch of letters and numbers and colors on it, and in the hallways, like everybody's super quiet, doesn't talk to each other because there's like dozens of classified programs. So they don't know what you know because it's hard to see from a distance. But once you get behind closed doors, everybody's partying, shooting Nerf guns at each other.
Yeah, nice.
But nobody is very friendly in the hallways.
Nice. There you go.
Again, yen.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Anywho.
So you were saying you had to start that process.
We're gonna wrap all of this up into what we want to do, what I want to do in the future.
Yeah.
So in the future, how I see the company going, like I want to ultimately like work in space. I don't want to go to space because screw that. I've watched a live. I mean, what is it? Whatever. I've watched like enough space stuff to be like, I'm not trying to get like alien nuked. I'm good. Not gonna do that. But I want our drones, to do inspections of the ISS. So our astronauts, our people, do not have to go into space to do these. We're like for very menial tasks, for very repeatable and menial tasks,
or like a base on Mars, right? You can send it out.
Absolutely.
And so figuring out different propulsion systems, partnering with the other companies, those are the type of things that are really exciting. What I want to do. I haven't been able to do that because I've been focused on fundraising, which is not as fun as you fucking think. It's not sexy. It's not at all. It's mostly doing like crying. But that's what I want us to do at the end of the day. And ultimately, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that under Rise, if I want to do that under something else. And but at the end of the day, there's so many applications for our technology.
Yeah.
And for what we're building. And I have the passion and I have the team that I believe is able to execute on that.
Boom.
It's so important.
We rise.
Love that.
We rise.
We rise.
Why we res?
Well, why we rise? Well, we've been talking for almost 2 fucking hours, so I'm going to conclude this conversation.
Ooh, damn. I'm tired.
I told my girlfriend I'd be there 43 minutes ago, and I need to do a lot of shit after this.
Hi, Jaira.
Hi, Jaira. So, where can we find out more information? Where can we reach you at? Do you want us to reach you? If not, we can just cut this part out.
If you want to reach us, by all means, you can use social media in any way. Rise, R-I-Z, as in Z-S-E. If you want me to do it phonetically, so like Romeo, India, Zulu, Sierra, Echo.
Okay.
Do phonetic. Dot India Oscar I-O. But you can meet us there on our website. You can see us on like Twitter. I'm getting better on our social media game. I'm going to talk to this one about this and have them talk, so I don't have to deal with it.
I don't know why he
I don't think it's going to be a fruitful.
The worst person.
Whoever your social media guys will have to talk to Taylor.
Not the worst.
You know something. But you guys can always reach here. Like, if you have any questions, I'm happy and I'd love to talk to anybody that wants to talk because it's cool stuff.
It's very cool stuff. We'll put the links up there. We'll put the links in the podcast description. Any last notes?
Like and subscribe.
There you go. He always wanted to say that. It's his first podcast.
I love Markiplier.
Love it.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Do we have anything left?
Let's do one more.
You're right.
One more, and then I already pushed off dinner with my friend. We're supposed to have drinks, and she's like, "Oh, it's 9:30." I was like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing the important stuff.
I might just sleep here, to be honest.
You can.
You wouldn't be.
I hear the garage is great. I mean, they redid the garage downstairs. They
did. It's hot as fuck.
Yeah, the air conditioner's on back order, but it'll be here soon.
I love that.
Great Austin situation to be in.
Mm-hmm. It was only like 101 today. I mean, you're fine.
Yeah. It was like 95 inside.
I will say, going from the 107 we had to feeling like a 95 a couple of days after that, after we had the crazy heat peak, I was like, this is kind of nice, you know? Even though it's still 95.
It's August.
Yeah.
In Texas.
Exactly.
All right, boys.
I got one final cheers. It's gonna be a little combination. So,
let's do it.
When we strive, cheers.
We rise.
We rise. Oh, you fucking piece of shit.
I didn't become a CEO for nothing.
Damn it! How did you know I was gonna say that? That was really good.
Because it was fucking great. It was great.
When we strive,
do you have an outro?
We rise.
We rise. When we
strive. No, I have like an actual outro though.
No, let's do it.
What's your outro?
It's just me talking.
Oh, it doesn't sound like a song or anything?
Well, Garrett, the first episode, he goes, "That's why we strive." Actually, let's
right.
We like Colby.
This is why we rise.
Ooh. But we strive. I wanted to thank you for watching this entire episode of Why We Strive. Be sure you head to whywestrive.com and subscribe so every Tuesday you can see incredible interviews with some of the best tech founders, investors, and creatives in the industry. Have an amazing day, and don't forget to keep striving.